up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. It's been a little bit longer road than I expected, but Tweedly D and Tweedly Dum over here are finished, and the time has come to try to stuff them in the trunk area of the Malibu. So we're gonna pop the trunk, you know, pop the trunk on this thing, and I will show you guys kind of what we're working with now. We're gonna have to get all that stuff out of there and make room, and I think we kind of messed up a little bit. We'll go over that in a minute. So let's dig in here, see what we got. Oh. All right, so here's our setup, and this is the tank we're replacing. This is about 14 gallons, 10-inch depth, 19 3/4 wide. It has a little sump. This is just an eBay deal, and I retrofitted this thing on here with the help of one of my follows on here. I think it was Joey Govia. I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I know I butcher your name every time, but he was awesome enough to make this thing, and it has served well. And again, this is just some eBay or tank. I don't even remember where I got it, dude, but it's been years. You can go back and watch the video. Anyway, we got our spin-on tractor's supply filter right here, and all this stuff needs to move so we can put the new bay, this dude with Tweedly D and Tweedly Dum, and slam them on home. Well, I'll show you real quick. It mounts up 4 corners. On each corner, we just kind of mount it. This thing has always bugged me. I have no idea why we put the line like that. That's probably the worst place to put a fuel line, but that's what we did. So I just kind of ignored it, but this has always bugged me, so that needs to be rerouted. We're gonna correct all of that. But there's this. You can see the level from here to here, we're not even. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop the legs off this here thing, and then we're gonna lower it down. So that way the new tank is in line with this. And then I think I want to do like how this kind of has like a little cage guy. We'll kind of do that and then mount the fuel cell is kind of my new idea. But where your boy screwed up here is we ended up being, I pulled the tape on it. It's a little wider. We ended up at 20 and a little bit because of material, because you don't meet them together. You know, it gave it an extra chingadera, a little poop, 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 poop on either side. So that screwed me with this. We're gonna pull this out and verify, but I don't think that tank will actually fit in the hole, which is wonderful, but we have a little bit more room. It's gonna be hard to get around and get a weld over there, but I don't think I need a ton more. So this bar will have to either come out or get replaced. We'll see if we can do a good job of cutting it out, but I think basically this is gonna be a rem at this point. And I did get material. Yeah, I got all these guys. So I got some, I think this is all DOM. So we got plenty of stock to make new stuff out of. So we're not gonna sit here and try to revamp this. We'll cut it off, stick baby in the corner, and that's it. We'll get rolling. So I'm a little sad, I'm gonna say right now. I just realized, because once we pull the tank out, the old Malibu is no longer a runner. I was doing good too. I had a running Winnebago, running Malibu. Life was good, but now we'll be down to just a running Winnebago. Let's pull this junk out of here. So we have everything free, and there's fuel in there, and I was like, oh, maybe we can just pick it up. And then I went to like pick this thing up, and I thought it was stuck. No, it just has a lot of fuel in it. So I'll have to get something, we'll drain it. I don't know if I can siphon. I don't know if I can get something low enough, but let's get the fuel out of it. We'll pull it out, and then we'll see what kind of dilemma we're in with the new tank not fitting. It's so sad too, because I think it's like that close. It's like a gnat's ass, and hey, that's what happens when it's amateur hour, huh? I was able to siphon the fuel out. I pulled 10 gallons out. I got 5 over there. We kind of hit it. I'm gonna actually move behind the fence because I think we're gonna be cutting some metal and whatnot. We don't want any issues. And then I already have another 5 gallons behind the fence. So this thing, actually, I can move it now. See, it's pretty light. It was only a 14-gallon cell, so I think it was pretty darn full. Looks like I need to eat my Wheaties because it had, I don't know, probably 12 gallons in it. And I was like, oh, that thing's stuck. So let's see if we can take this thing out. Come to daddy. let's see. Oh yeah, see? Take 10 gallons out of it, it's much lighter. Woo, look at all that room for activities. What were you thinking, Dane? I don't know, we'll never know. We'll take this off. I'm gonna get a pan because this thing's full of fuel, and then we can kind of empty that back into that to catch it for now. Take this dude off, kind of let things dry up. And then we are gonna try to test fit the Big Mama Jamma, but just to give you a look, like in the car this thing looks big, right? But it's just a little square basically. Like it's really not that big compared to this guy, right? She a much larger unit. So let me deal with all that stuff, move it, and then you and I will try to fit the big tank together. We are in the belly of the beast. Obviously we got everything moved, the fuel line, all that stuff. We're letting little 85 dry up before I take that out. But when I was under here pulling it out, I figured I would share this with you guys. So if you're building stuff, you're doing a fuel system, you have to account where you put it. So for whatever awesome reason, you can see the original one went up and kind of behind this piece here. And I don't know why I didn't kind of follow suit with that one, but I was like, oh, straight shot, easier, lazy, whatever. Actually, technically, I didn't have this here. So this was not here when I made that originally. And then when I put this in, I figured, it'll be fine. Well, it wasn't. We smacked it and smashed that. So we fix all this stuff. We're gonna move that line. Maybe move this, I can just bend this over a bit so it's, you know, protected by here and it's out of the way of that. And then this guy seems to be in a good spot to where nothing's gonna hit it if it moves up and down. And then we'll bring the lines over here somewhere and bulkhead it and do all that fun stuff. But I want to share this with you because this was not foresight on my part. I thought it was good, and then we ended up having an issue. And then, like I said, later I'd like to go -8 return, but we'll get there. Baby steps. We'll leave this for now. It's plenty for what we're doing. So everything else is out. Let's jump up and show you. We are good. I'll just remove this guy carefully. We'll empty this into the tank over there. And then I think what I'd like to do before we try to put it in there is we'll kind of clean off the bench. We'll do a little side by side, and I'll physically show you guys, you know, how much larger the new tank is compared to what we had. Here is a quick side by side before we kind of move forward, just to showcase so you guys can physically see size wise. So essentially we just kind of grew on this end for the most part, which is amazing because it's actually a lot of fuel. Granted, you know, we're back a little bit in this thing, you know, so we only grew X amount, but that's a lot of gallons of fuel when you take that little tank out of there versus what this is. So yeah, and then you can see we kind of copied, you know, what they did, but I did the little tear off guys, like I said, and then I supported underneath. This one doesn't have any support underneath on these corners. It's just the regular tank. Ooh, they didn't even weld all the way around. And then also, I think this might be a little thicker, this whole tank, versus what we welded up, or a little thinner. So that's why we did that. And then we've got the Alloy Works Amazon guy. You know, we've got the standoff cap versus the sunken one. I'm hoping too that this cap keeps a little more trash out. Like this is flat and it always gets stuff, and like you can see it's recessed. It would always kind of have junk, and this tank is actually pretty full of trash. I don't know if you can see in there, but yeah, the thing's pretty full of trash. And then also this had, you know, I think it was a 10 or an 8 on both these. 10. This is a 10 for a vent, and then I use this as a return. We just necked it down to like a 6, and then I don't have to do that on this one because it'll all be done through the hat. So this hat right here is slick, and it's funny because I almost wonder if this would go into here, and then you could just put some sort of fill cap, and you could essentially make a cheap version of this out of this. So this tank too, I will say, you're not going to beat this. You're not going to build your own custom tank for cheaper than these like eBay, Amazon ones. I think they're all probably made like the same factory. But it would be interesting because the bolt pattern, I almost wonder if it's similar. Maybe we could check that real quick before we get too froggy. If let me just kind of overlay this over that. Because that would kind of be like the cat's meow for you guys that don't want to, you know, don't have the No, the ring on here is larger. This is a smaller ring, so that's not gonna fly. But I was hoping, man, that would be cool. So this is actually a smaller circumference than this guy is, so you would have to do it basically like the way I did it here. So leave that as a fill, or get a different fill, and then this might, I don't know, you'd be close. But either way, this is a heck of a tank. I think too, I mean, if people are interested in this, people ask me all the time about this little hat. It'd be simple enough to make these. So let me know what you guys think, because this is bitchin', but I could laser these things out much cheaper and provide fittings and kind of a simple DIY deal. So who knows? Anyway, moment of truth. Let's fit this thing together. Dun, 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 dun. So close, Dane. So close. Well, look at that. Ah, Dane. Wah, wah, wah. See? It is right there. I got greedy, boys. We got greedy with the measurements. I was like, oh, we could just fudge it a little bit. No, you can't. No, you can't, Dane. So, ultimately, though, front to back, I mean, whoo, that thing is looking nice and nice. Look at that thing. Whew. And then we're going to sink her on down. Obviously, so this will open. So we got to be lower. Man, I'm excited. That's already looking good. But let me get it out of here before it just falls down. And it looks like we're going to do a little cutting. This side has to be the side that gets cut because this captures this guy, so we're locked in. But man, what a bonehead move. Measure 60 times and then cut and make a tank once. Well, we reached the point in our story where I realized that I actually have to take everything out of the trunk. So that means I have to undo the water pump. We're gonna take the water box out. I even have to take the breather box out because everything's Tetrised in here. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't think we're gonna get very much further on this video today because it is after hours. I worked today and we're just trying to get as far as we can because I feel like I'm behind, because I technically am. So we're gonna wrap it here. If I make progress, I'll just leave you guys with kind of a picture of how far we got. We're gonna continue this saga, but my goal for today is to turn the camera off and get as far as I can before dinner time, before I get yelled at. So we'll try to get this stuff out of here, and hopefully that bar and these little legs cut off, and then we can set the tank in and at least take a picture and feel good about ourselves. So thank you guys for watching. I'll keep you posted. We are on the road to Rocky Mountain Race Week. Please go hit up Destroyer Clothing, my buddy John Chase Studios. Cop some gear, help some kids. Until next time, you guys know what to do. I'm out.